Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. Today I have two rustic Easter DIYs for you and I can't wait to show you guys these because they turned out super cute. And here is the first one. I am using 3 of these wood crates from the Dollar Tree and 3 of these wood crosses also from the Dollar Tree. First, I'm going to come in with my white Waverly chalk paint and I am going to paint over these crates with it. And I do give these 2 coats, I believe, or maybe 1 coat. I am going to go over it with some antique white as well, antique wax. So I didn't really need an overall coverage. So next I'm coming in and I am going to be using my baby wipe to give this a really good coat of the Waverly antique wax. I really love this wax. I use it all the time. And I'm doing it all around the sides, the edges, the front, and the back of my cross. And now I'm also coming in with my sandblock once that is all dry. And I'm going to give it a really good sanding because I want it to be kind of more distressed and rustic looking. Next, I come in and with the same antique wax. I keep on wanting to say white. I don't know why. Antique wax by Waverly. And I am going to also go over those with my baby wipe as well and do an all over coat on the sides, edges, front, and back. And I did fill my hose with the, oh my gosh, what do you call it? Wood filler, but it didn't fill that well. So I also used some of my hot glue to fill those in. And I'm also distressing these as well with my sandblock. And once those are all distressed, I am going to come in with my crates again, and I'm going to do a very light dry brush on the top with the antique wax as well, all over the boxes, on the sides, and all around the sides of the crates. And if you get a little too heavy with your brush, don't worry. You can always go over it again with your white, or you can do what I do, and I go in with my sanding block and I kind of sand down those places where I went in a little bit darker. And once I get all of those painted, and I did do the tops as well, so that I made sure it had an all over coverage with the antique wax as well. I wanted to make sure everything was cohesive and working together, and I really love the way these turned out. It's one of my favorite DIYs that I've done so far for Easter. So next, once I get this all done, I'm going to come in and I am going to also use this sign that I got from the Dollar General store. This was also only $1. And I just took the staples out in that hanger and I am going to sand it down a little bit, and then I come in with my dry brushing again with that antique wax, and I did an all over coat of that as well, but just dry brushing just to tone it down a little bit and give it that rustic look. And next, what I am going to do is I'm going to glue that in a minute to the front of my boxes. But first, I'm going to come in with some of this, I guess it's twine. And I got this also at the Dollar Tree during the Easter time. And I decided to make 2 little circles with it. And then I cut it with my wire scissors, my wire cutters. And I'm going to glue that to the center of my larger cross. Now, once I get this all down, I'm also going to come in with some of my Spanish moss, and I am going to also put that around the circle as well, just to give it a more rustic look as well around that twine. And then I'm just going to use little dabs of glue to glue that down. I didn't want to glue it down with a lot of hot glue because in case I ever want to redo it, I can always pull that off and it won't leave a bunch of glue gunk behind. So just keep that in mind whenever you're using your hot glue. If you think you might go back and want to use it for something else or change it up a bit, don't use as much hot glue, I guess. So I'm just putting some of that Spanish moss behind there as well. And I just put little dabs of glue for that as well, just to make sure it stays stuck on there. And then next, I'm going to put a little piece of it also around the smaller crosses. I just wrapped a little piece around the top of the cross and then glued it to the back. And what that did is that covered up that hole a little bit better, because I couldn't get that hole covered. I don't know why. Nothing was working. So that was a way of covering it up. And then I came in and with my sand block and I sand down these crates as well, just to give it a more distressed look. And then once I sand these 3 boxes down, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to glue them all together. And all I did was use my hot glue to glue these together, but you could use wood glue if you would prefer to have that permanent hold. But I knew that I might not, so I just used the hot glue and it worked out just fine. And these stayed pretty stuck together, so. And then once I get those all glued together, I'm going to come in with my little sign and I am going to glue that to the front center of one of my crates. And I just glued it right in the center like so. And then I'm going to come in with my crosses and I'm going to start gluing those in to my boxes. But first I wanted to raise the smaller ones up a little bit. So I took some craft foam from the Dollar Tree and I just took a little square piece and I glued that down to the center of my 2 end crates. And then I glued down my center cross first because I wanted to make sure everything would be straight. And then I came in with those smaller crosses and I glued those on top of the craft foam pieces that I glued down. And once I get everything glued down and all nice and straight, I am going to come in with my Spanish moss again and I am going to fill those crates with the Spanish moss. And I just filled in a little bit around the edges and all around the crosses. And once I fill those all in, I didn't use a real lot because I'm also going to come in with some stones that I also got at the Dollar Tree. I wanted to have some stones in this to give it a little bit more of a realistic look to it, because knowing, that Jesus was crucified on the cross and that it was a cobblestone area, so there were lots of stones on the ground, so I really wanted to give it that rustic look with the stones around the crosses. So that's what I did with these stones. And you can get a bag of these stones at the Dollar Tree, like I said. And once I get all those in, that's it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way this turned out. And I just think it turned out so pretty and so rustic. And there it is. So I hope you guys like it too. Let me know what you think in the description box down below. And on to DIY number 2. So DIY number 2, I am going to do another cross, and this one I got this sign for $0.25 from the Dollar Tree. I don't know why, but it was $0.25, so I grabbed it. And what I'm going to do is take out the twine. I'm going to rip off this burlap piece that was on top. I tried to get that cross off, but it was just too glued on stuck to that burlap. So I had to throw that part out. But what I did is I cut down and I took off the part that says Easter Blessing, and I did fray the edges with the burlap because I wanted it to have that frayed look. So once I took little pieces out of that, I put that aside, and then I just used my sand block to sand down to get a smooth surface so that I could go in and paint it with my plaster chalk paint from Waverly. So that is what I did. And I gave this a good 2 coats on the front, and then I did do 2 coats on the back as well. And then once I get that all coated, you will see me come in and I am going to use my antique wax again, and I am going to give it a light brushing with that as well, just to stress it a little bit and give it that rustic look. And I just love the way this one turns out too, guys. So pretty. And you can change this out too whenever you want. So what I did is I just got the edges really good, and I did brush the middle a bit, and then I came in with my sand block again and just toned it down just a little bit and sanded it down. And next I am going to do the edges as well. I wanted to give it that worn rustic look. And then I come in with that metal cross piece that I got at Hobby Lobby. I got that for $1 as well. And I just glued that down to the center. And then I'm going to take that burlap piece that says Easter Blessings that I cut out, and I am going to glue the bottom part with a bead of the hot glue, and then I'm going to kind of make it like a pocket because I'm going to go in and put some florals in that. So I kind of just pushed it up a little bit, and then I'm going to glue it down like that, just so I leave a little bit of a gap in the middle so that I could put in my floral pieces that I'm going to use. And then once I get that all glued down, we are going to come in with some of the thumbtacks. I use silver thumbtacks, and what I did is I used my wire cutters and I just clipped off the sharp piece that's on them, and I just glued them down to make them look like they were, you know, pushed into the wood, which they weren't, if that makes sense. And I just glued those down just for a nice look on it, nice finished look. And then once I get those glued down into the 4 different spots there, I'm gonna come in with my beautiful greenery that I got from the Dollar Tree. I love these picks that they have this year at the Dollar Tree. So these are some really pretty purple eucalyptus, I believe they are. And what I did is I'm going to make like a little swag at the top, and I'm going to tie them together with some twine. So I came in with the purple and white, and now I'm just going to come in with some purple pieces, and I'm just going to, like I said, put some on each side, and then I'm going to come in with some twine that I had, and I just wrapped it, glued it, and then wrapped it around a few times on both sides. And then I'm going to glue that down to the center. Now I did bend it a little bit to cover those little holes in my sign. And I'm going to glue it down with my hot glue gun, which you will see in a minute here. And that was it for that part. And I just love the way this turned out, you guys. And it's so easy. And then I took some of those pieces and I cut some more out, and I'm going to stick them in that little pocket that we made. And I do stick some of the white and purple and some of the purple. And then I'm going to come in with some of those lavender pieces that you see on the left hand side that I got from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to stick a couple of those in with some greenery. And also, I think I come in with some baby's breath as well. So you just stick in whatever flowers you want. You don't have to stick in what I'm sticking in. I just like the purple. It just all went together. The purple, the white. I just loved the way this turned out. For $0.25, guys. I got this sign for $0.25. Can you believe that? $0.25. So this sign basically cost just dollars, like only a few dollars. I'm going to say probably $5 at the most to make this. So now I'm just sticking in some of those baby's breath, and really that's it for this DIY, guys. So I hope you guys like it. Leave me your comments down below. Let me know which one you like best. I like them both the best. I think they turned out really super pretty, and I hope you guys like them too. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you. Just hit that red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified every time I post in a video. And I will see you guys again soon. And remember, stay crafty. Bye.